Hey everybody, my name is Koi from Ray of Gratitude, where you can find your spiritual journey and your creative journey aligned. That's pretty much the simplest form I can tell you. I love to help bring out the most authentic parts of who you are and allow you to see your creativity. I really wanted to tap into my own personal projects. And if you've been following this page, you more than likely know that I like tarot. I do tarot readings, card readings, oracle readings, whatever is involved in cards and intuition. I love it. Not only do I have a coaching program that helps you strengthen your intuition and cultivate consistency with cards, right? I love illustrating, and haven't really quite been able to focus on my own projects lately. And recently I came across a tarot group that does tarot studies. They pick a deck that they want to study and dive deeper into the energy of. And I was like, because like that's where I nerd out at. I also have a blog that's called The Ray of Cards that actually speaks more on my love for cards and how I use them for my self-healing practices, as well as pretty much helping people understand the lingo around tarot. I have a tarot deck in my hand, which is not mine, but it helps people understand the lingo of tarot, and it helps people feel more comfortable with meeting their tarot expectations, I'll say. Because right now, man, there's just so much that I've noticed, grown to understand about tarot, that a lot of people use tarot for, and I just kind of feel like me personally, just me personally, I don't feel like that's really the best way to use tarot, or I just possibly don't even feel like that's what tarot was made for in the first place. I met a tarot group that does tarot studies, and I'm going to be taking some time to show you all some of my readings that pertain to my tarot study. And this is the tarot deck that I'm going to be talking about, True Heart Intuitive Tarot by Rachel True. And I'm going to be highlighting the major arcana cards, because when you're tapping into the tarot, right, the major arcana cards are not only showing you the archetype that your current or your seeker, the person that's seeking the reading, may be embodying. It's also talking about the power of what this reading is. You know, it kind of circles around that. And your minor arcana cards are a representation of the major arcana in a minor way. So, the major arcana also, there is 22 major arcana cards. I do feel like they are 22 because of even like the life path 22. If you look into what that life path is, it speaks about creation and other things. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but it's a master number. And when we're talking about mastering life, it's major, right? Major arcana, major archetypes. And the fool's journey resembles even the hero's journey, which allows us psychologically to understand the growth from the soul, as well as just who we are in our lifetime, right? Growing from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. So I love it. When I first got introduced to tarot, I was like, what? That's what that means? I'm like, that's me type of thing. And it's just like, okay, first of all, it's not about you. It's other people too, right? And then second of all, how do we use that story, right, to resemble ourselves, right, for our own healing journey? And how do you give that back? How do you give service of that? Whether you're doing card readings for other people or just finding your own creative spirit and utilizing those unique creative gifts and sharing it with the world, because you've been able to understand the process. The Fool's Journey is a process. Life is a process. And this is what, through tarot, it actually represents or somewhat depicts, if you're tapped in that way. When it comes to tarot, it's kind of just like I want to just read from the images, and these images are pretty cool. And I find that I think it's just a cool way to actually share. So I'm going to be having more videos that are speaking on the major arcana. So you're going to see a little more than 22 actually, because I'm going to switch it up a tad bit. I'm going to do some readings around the Fool card, and tying in my own cards that I've made and how you can utilize that, all for the love of self-healing, self-development, and soul growth. So, do I have anything else that I want to say? I don't think so. We're going to kick it off with the Fool card, you know, go on to the Magician, and so on and so on. And you're going to also be able to see the process of the way that I like to create. And you're going to see also a project that's birthing from this too, through my illustrations. So if you like reading more so, or if you just want to support me in the way through my blog, you'll be able to actually see sneak peeks of my illustrations. No, I'm not going to be showing that on YouTube. I'm just not. You might, but you're definitely going to see it first on the blog. So if you really like illustrations and drawings and all that stuff, I suggest you go. It's a free blog. You know, you just sign up so you can get alerted on the writings. But yeah, like I'm ready to share this. This has been on my heart for some years actually, and I'm finally taking time to do it. So if you're a tarot nerd like me, or just love cards and illustrations of it, definitely be a part of that. I would love your support. Honestly, I'm asking for that support so I can keep going, because seeing people show up and conversing with me about what I'm doing really helps me raise my vibrations too. Just gonna keep it funky with y'all, for real. And I truly appreciate everybody that's commented and liked, and I appreciate that. So I'm done talking. It's been quite a little bit too much. Then I didn't really want to speak that much on it, but I did kind of want to, because this is the first card. We're starting with the Fool. I promise you the next ones won't be that much talk. And yeah, so just check the links below. Array of Cards is the blog. If you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, subscribe. You know, if you're frequent with YouTube, subscribe, like, and also please share. That's another way you can support me. Share with somebody that you feel that may really like this, because you're in for a little treat, and I'm excited that you are joining my journey. So let's start. Okay, so I decided to use a few different card decks to just compare and contrast for a little bit. I was thinking, I was like, do I want to bring the Rider Waite tarot in? But this is the most original card deck. This is the only kind that I have, so it's reflective. It's pretty much the same print of what this actual Fool card starts. So back in the day, you know, they didn't care about us women folk. So the Fool's journey really talks about him and his fool self. No, but seriously, about his beginning of his journey that he sets off to life, you know, through, I believe he's like adolescent here, you know. To me, this reminds me of a teenager that thinks they're grown, but they're not quite grown, you know what I mean? And they constantly are on the edge of the cliff. Yet their parents sometimes are beneath that cliff to catch them. Many times they aren't. But that helps us with our experiences, honestly. through this fool's journey, it learns about itself and it learns about ways that how it interacts in the world. At the very end card, that's why it has the world, because it starts to understand ways that they can actually now give back to the world, you know, just like when we start to understand who we are as our identity, which is why they have this, a lot of this yellow here and the sun is shining like the solar plexus. We start to create our own ego, and nothing's wrong with our ego, but our ego can get very unruly when we're not in check with it. And for some reason, I don't know if people ever had identity checks, but many of us have identity crises where we're attached to so many things because we're not really aligned with our soul purpose and our soul mission. And this is my definition of the fool's journey. You know, I'm sure if you want to share more or add more, please be my guest and comment below. But you know, it has its fellow companion. It's a white dog, and here there's a white dog. I'm starting to connect this white dog with actually the yin and yang symbol, and the yang is it goes towards the masculine energy. But if we're not talking in gender, it's more about the adventure, the outgoing, the extrovert type of energy that is about that action. Not saying, well, this is why I don't like talking about the gender, because yin, the opposite, right? It's two sides of the coin, but it's still the same coin, right? The yin energy is more about an introvert, is more about internal things, introspective, insight, you know, all those inwards. So yeah, he got his fresh clothes on, you know what I mean? He got his golden boots on. He's crossed or he's probably about to cross those mountains because he's going to have some hardships like we all do in life. But you know, I'm not sure if this is Lily here, and I have to look in a book a little bit more, but I do know lilies represent innocence, sexuality, I believe, as well as sensuality. So let's, enough about the Rider-Waite, right? Notice now this card deck I'll be using throughout the rest of this tarot study. Okay, so I'm going to be, throughout the Major Arcana tarot study that I have going on with this beautiful piece right here, I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the cards with the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sturrell. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. And then I have this here, The Way Home Tarot by these people. Okay. I love this because these Major Arcanas don't look nothing like the Reflective Tarot, honestly, the Rider-Waite Tarot, excuse me, which I love because it just allows me to expand my own creativity and my intuition. I'm probably going to be saying this a lot, but I usually don't like using the cards because I like to feel through the illustrations, because that's just the way my Claire tarot works for me. But as you see, a lot of the colors are contrast. You know, this has the sun shining. This sun is a little bit different positioned, and it's pink, it's soft, and it's not as strong. And then this right here has color, which is rainbow-esque, right? But that's the only true color besides the plants. You know, and many times in starting a journey, your fool's journey, it's a long journey, right? And looking at the way home, it's kind of like, how do I get home? It's like, do I jump off this cliff? Is there another way? You know, and to me, it speaks more through the soul. This does too, and this is very interesting now that I'm looking at it, because it's kind of like this is a great mix between the Modern Witch and The Way Home. Because the Modern Witch is very much replicable of the Rider-Waite. It's just a few details like, hey, I'm a female, don't forget about me type of thing. It has its loyal brown dog right here. She got her iPod or whatever going on, and her little knapsack that is actually those fun little backpacks. I thought it would have been really cute if the dog wasn't there and it had those animal backpacks. I'm showing my age right now, but if anybody remembers in the 90s when we had those small backpacks that resembled like animals, there was like dogs, pandas, and all that stuff. Yeah, that would have been real cute. I just gave a little gem for any artists that are looking towards looking towards possibly doing their own tarot reading. I don't know how I'm going to do mine. Tarot card deck, excuse me. Yeah, that's something to think about. I'm glad I'm recording right now. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Who knows? But you will see if you subscribe to the cause. But back to the Fool card, right? It's really about being on the edge of life. You know, starting a new journey, giving that oomph, that feeling when you just have something new that you really want to start and you're on the edge, you're on the precipice of starting, but you may or may not have started. For this card deck, though, right here, Rachel True's, is it Rachel True? I'm sorry, I'm tired. I was going to say, is it Rachel True or Rachel Hart? Anywho, it's reminding me that she's like staring off into her own mind in a way, with the buttercup flower that does represent innocence and childhood, right? And the Fool card also represents that naivety, that childlike or inner childlike energy that reflects that playful energy. You know, like if you're around any, I'll say toddlers and below, they have a lot of jovial energy, that high energy, that nothing can touch me type of energy, you know, because they're not really they don't really know the world as it's the mundane, you know what I mean, type of things that adults experience. But one thing I can tell you, if you think of the Fool card as the 0 and it going back through its cycle again, many times as an adult, if you're doing a lot of inner work or healing or wanting to grow more, because you feel stumped in a cycle, almost like Groundhog's Day, for those that know that movie, or just feel like everything keeps repeating oneself. Why do I feel blocked or whatnot, right? Feeling like you're on a hamster wheel. Many times those are telltale signs that you are somewhat going through an where's the camera? Identity crisis, right? Because your internal self, your soul is like, hey, we need to live more. But you're not quite tapped into the soul, you know? Many times we don't, because we far away from our spiritual selves, and we don't connect with it enough. And I'm big on talking about, hey, the creative journey is something in itself, just like the spiritual journey, because there's so many births and rebirths that we have here. And that's why I'm pointing out the number 0 again, because, you know, it's a circle, it's a cycle, and it's okay to be right where you started again, just to get lost again. Because if any of those people that have ever been in a new place, right, when you walk around, you kind of don't want to get lost, but then at the same time you kind of do, because you'll remember your way back home more. Many times when you do get lost, those experiences hit deeper, so you can remember it more and be more meaningful and purposeful to carry throughout your journey. So again, we have the cliff, you know, representing that that living on the edge type of thing going here. Why is it getting blurry? Right? And we also, I'm not really sure what's up with the band-aids on the wrists. I'm not quite sure what that's about. But the road, the mountains in the background, we have the city that's in the background, and I just feel like right over here, which is different position, but it's showing where she's going to wind up having to go throughout her path. But she doesn't see it, because clearly she's not looking at it, right? This one may be, but it is the soul, and, you know, the soul isn't quite that human looking like image that we have on these cards. So I'm just giving you a little bit. I also want to point out this knapsack here that was represented kind of like the little satchel that I want to call it in this Rider Waite one, because a lot of times when we're on a new journey, um, it kind of reminds me of those people that are now famous. Some of them have said that before, this story where, you know, like their soul was calling them to follow their dreams. And they had like a lint ball, a whistle, and probably like $10. And they hopped on the bus and then they're like, I'm going after my dreams. And it was a long journey, but they wind up going after their dreams and meeting their end goal. And I just want to represent that too, because that's what this Fool card energy is about. Regardless of how it's depicted, it's about starting something new, starting a new cycle, and having what you need, but not quite having what you want quite yet, you know? So that's all I have. I'm going to be going through this tarot journey. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to start. I have a card. I have a blog that's called Array of Cards that talks a little bit more about the reason why I'm starting this, and it's just going to talk a little bit more about the symbolism and have the videos attached to the blog as well. So if you're more of a reader, this is great. Definitely subscribe so you can get alerted. If you're not, you probably will maybe hang out here in YouTube. But the difference between my blog and this vlog, the YouTube, right, is that you'll get more, the YouTube will have more videos about like tarot and things that I'm doing and tarot readings. As for the blog, I have, I'll be sharing more illustrations of my own card deck that will be seen first there and nowhere else. So if you're an artist like me, if you're a tarot lover like me, or if you're just that eccentric person that just loves things like this, I invite you to join me, because I definitely love the support. And I'd love more people to connect, more people to talk more, engage more, and tell me what you think, and just even give me some tidbits if there's anything that you'd like to comment more on your knowledge and wisdom on tarot. So stay tuned for the Magician card, which is next, and more videos on tarot. And yeah, check a look at what I'm also doing in my business called Array of Gratitude, that actually helps you strengthen your intuition and further help you just bring more authenticity to your spiritual and creative journey, since they do collide and there's many blocks and many wisdoms and epiphanies along this journey. All right, y'all, I'm outie. Peace.